Alright, and hello again everybody. Welcome on back to another episode of Shapes.io. I'm going to remember to set my timer this time. Reset. There we go. That way I do not forget. And let's go ahead and continue with where we left off in the last episode. So I've got 4 of these that I'm going to use for one side of the production, and I'm going to create 4 more for the other side of Pinwheel production. And that way we can have more than enough of these than we know what to do with. So the real question is, because obviously right now we don't need the halves themselves, so what I might do is we can take them in groups of 2 like this, so 2, 2, 2, and then 2, and then we can just belt everything together and combine them like that. I'm not sure, but let's actually just go ahead and get things hooked up. And we will go from there. So, as always, hopefully everyone is doing well today. I know... Oh, it'll make a difference once I actually start doing the balancing thing. There we go. Because obviously we have plenty that can be used, but they were all only drawing from the one belt and then not getting rebalanced afterwards. But cool, there you go. So now we've got plenty of this going on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And let's see what we can do. So, but as I was saying, like I said, hopefully everyone's doing well. Getting some time to maybe relax. I don't know if you watch this to relax or you watch this for idle noise, if you happen to watch this at all, but you know, I'd appreciate being able to just kind of provide something that, you know, is beneficial. So like I said, I am still kind of learning the ropes for a lot of this stuff. I would like to get better at, you know, talking to myself, which, you know, is not much of a phrase that many people think about in their daily lives, but, you know, it's the kind of part that comes with being somebody who makes content on either YouTube or Twitch or anything like that. You have to get used to talking to yourself when you're not specifically addressing an audience. Okay, that's why that looks weird, because that one's plugged into the top. Yeah, so it's like I've done a little bit of research on things just because I'm interested in making my content better and would like to. It just, as someone who is a little bit of an extrovert in normal life, question mark, nothing's obviously really normal right now because we have pandemic and all sorts of other stuff, but relatively speaking, normal life as opposed to, you know, being a content creator, doing this stream of consciousness type of content. Like I said, it's not a normal thing to talk to yourself in more of a ranty fashion for long periods of time, at least not that I'm aware of. I don't really do it myself. Some things do mention that it's like a sign of intelligence to talk to yourself, but, you know, it could be one of those things where it's BuzzFeed saying that versus, you know, some sort of more reputable source. Honestly, whatever the case is, beats me. I just am here to work and try and enjoy doing something that I genuinely enjoy doing and go from there. And like I said, hopefully if you are watching, that is the case for you as well. Hopefully you are enjoying any content that I happen to make, liking this series of videos, enjoying what I'm doing because I enjoy it, and I'm doing it because I want other people to be able to as well. I was like, that again is another part of the reason why I would be making this content in the first place, is because I think everyone deserves to be able to enjoy the content as opposed to, you know, it just being something that's here or and whatnot. I don't know about you all, but I've never been a big fan of kind of TV, like in general, so I ended up I watch a lot of content on YouTube, and I enjoy watching the stream of consciousness style, and I think it kind of works for me. I enjoy, you know, talking to people and whatnot. It's just a lot of it kind of comes down to getting the opportunity to do so, and with the lack of stuff going on right now, just because, like I said, we've got the virus going on and whatnot, and just this is a good setting to try and practice talking in a different sense, you know? So like I said, I'm trying my best to just kind of produce content and see how much I can kind of keep myself doing things and stay motivated, especially while we have a lot of stuff going on right now. It's going to be kind of hard to work through and work with. So let's see. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go ahead and get ourselves another balancer. Come on up over here and go from there. And honestly, another goal of mine, I was talking about it with a friend of mine earlier, but the gaming community has a lot of toxicity in it, and especially if you've been keeping up with stuff recently, we have a lot of issues with like sexual assault and sexual harassment, even just on its own. And, you know, it's seen in a lot of professions, and it's just disappointing at this point. There's no reason for things to be this way. We should be able to, you know, respect people, and especially respect women who work in these spaces, and even, like I said, respect each other, because I'll tell you, I was playing a little bit of CSGO earlier, and if you're not familiar, a lot of the people that, you know, play that on a regular basis are very good at the game, very much enjoy it, but you also have a lot of toxicity in any competitive shooter because, you know, people think that they can just kind of say whatever they want, especially with that hidden veil of the being an anonymous user online. So I mean, I had a lot of issues earlier where I was seeing all sorts of like slurs thrown around and all sorts of stuff like that, and it took me very little time to just completely mute everything and everyone because I don't want to listen to it. There's no reason to throw around the R slur, there's no reason to throw around the N word. It makes no sense to do that. I was like, because, you know, for the most part, people that are using that have, one, no right to say it, and at least specifically with the N-word, like, I don't think really anybody has the right to use the R-word because it's offensive, and I think we should be able to get past that now as a society, but obviously some people just don't understand, and that goes very true for the game industry, where you have a lot of people that just kind of say what they want because they think that it's okay when it's genuinely not. And like I said, so I mean, as someone who, you know, tries to actually like respect people around them, I don't get how we've gotten to this point. We should just be able to understand that sometimes we just shouldn't say shitty things. But at the end of the day, you can't make everyone see that, even if it seems simple. So sometimes you just have to, not to be super cliche, honestly, you have to be that change you want to see. And I'm trying to do that, so I want to try and just make more wholesome content, and hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I can do something like that, and it would be nice to make a change in a space that I'm heavily involved in, especially since I plan on working in this industry as a creator for games like themselves and whatnot, and I believe that we deserve better representation in the space as opposed to the toxicity that we see so often. And I'm sorry if you disagree, but if you do, I honestly don't really care, because there's no reason that we should be having this many issues right now. I was like, it's not that hard to just respect people and be a human being, but again, especially in the United States, there's a lot of issues just because of privilege, especially from being, you know, a white male, which I am myself, and I definitely understand that I do have a privilege associated with that, and that's why, you know, I'm genuinely trying to do things to make a difference and not just let it slide, because it's not okay. I don't want to use that privilege as an excuse to just be an asshole, pretty much. And it's 2.6, so yeah, so we'll still need 8. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, a lot of it kind of comes down to the fact that I think a lot of the treatment that people go through is just wrong and should not be the way that it is, and I just want to take part in actually fixing that instead of just letting it continue to be a thing. So, and I'm hoping to start that here now with creating, you know, kind of more wholesome videos. It was like, obviously I do kind of curse a little bit, and I grew up and with that influence, and I don't think it's really a bad thing. I was like, as long as it's, you know, not directed in a hateful way towards anyone. It was like, cursing is just more words at the end of the day, for my opinion. But obviously the influence of it kind of depends on, you know, where you're from, how you grew up, what you were used to, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so like I said, I mean, a lot of it is just wanting to be more respectful of other people, and in a time and place where we have a lot of issues with people seeming to understand how that works. And at the end of the day, if I can make a positive difference and at least, you know, be an example for people who might see this in the future, I mean, that's all that matters. I was like, you know, obviously right now I'm a small channel, so I don't have a platform, I don't have anything like that I can really go through and influence. But, you know, hopefully if I stick with it and kind of go from there, I might be able to have that someday. And at the very least, if I don't, like I said, one person at the end of the day being better just from seeing someone else actually try and be better is something that means a lot. And I think that's important, and especially times like right now where there's a lot of uncertainty about how so many different things are going, how different portions of our life are ever gonna, you know, return or if they're ever going to return to be the same way. And because I think it's a good idea to try and, you know, be better for those that either don't know how or refuse to, and eventually we'll be able to, I guess, shape the future generations to be better, even if we can't shape everyone now. And obviously that kind of goes into a little bit of like a darker place where there's being like, yeah, given that we can actually, you know, go however long, but that's a different story with a lot of the stuff going on, so trying not to, you know, bum people out, but I just want to get it out there that I think that everyone can be more respectful, or at least should be a certain level of respectful, and just try and, you know, be a good person, make other people's days better if you can, make other people's lives easier if you can, show support when you have the chance, and so on and so forth. Because I think we deserve to, I think people deserve to be happy as long as they're not doing things that are destructive and whatnot. So I'm interested because, you know, I saw those last three were backing up, but I go ahead and cut out the last two, and now the last one isn't actually backing up anymore. Does that mean that we're going to start seeing gaps, or is it going to actually still stay backed up, roughly? I think it's interesting because obviously a lot of it kind of comes down to how fast that these actually work. Because obviously it says 20 items a second, but, you know, like I said, the rough math of it, like I said, 8 to fill one up completely, even though it's 2 2/3. So I mean, oh, actually, are we seeing gaps here? I think we're seeing slight gaps, but for the most part, it's kind of keeping up. And everything's continuously moving over there. But yeah, so, and I think that's something I've always kind of struggled with over time is, like I said, I mean, I'm a white male. I kind of have a lot going for me in at least the United States. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure about other places, but I know that a lot of places that's kind of the same way that it goes. And, you know, I've always kind of felt like I've never really had much of an ability to contribute because, like I said, I mean, I don't really do stuff on social media. I don't really do anything on a more public basis, but given everything that's going on, I think now will be a great time to be able to actually, like, one, I've got a lot of time to be able to actually do different things to try and help and contribute, but then also on top of that, like, I have a lot of time to be able to do this kind of work and be able to contribute some more in terms of like creative content. And like I said, at the end of the day, I might be able to do something a little bit more, be able to actually, like I said, be able to actually make a difference. And that's kind of what my main hope is right now, is to be able to make a difference and do things for other people that might not be able to do it themselves, or inspire people who may not have been able to, or may not have thought about doing stuff before. Because like I said, at the end of the day, I think it's important just to be a good person and be able to realize what it means to be a good person. And like I said, I think a lot of that kind of comes down to if I can influence others to, realize that they have the ability to do more and do certain things, then that's what I would like to be able to do. So you'll notice that I made these 2 rows here, and then I have them both kind of going into this splitter, and I was just interested to see how it works. So obviously it's really only, like I said, because if I can build it all like this, then it's already set up where I'm supporting the max on a single belt. So I might have to deliver this second set separately, which, like I said, will double the amount that we're doing, the amount that we're actually delivering to our hub, which I still need to double check. Yes, I mean, we'll be there before you know it, but as always, this is kind of a type of game that's just really good for, idle, idle work while chatting, and that's why I chose it for something for like a more stream of consciousness style content. I was like, obviously the more I have to think, the more that my brain's going to be kind of pulled in 2 different directions, and somebody having ADHD such as myself, probably not a great idea. Not 100% sure why, but probably not a great idea to have to be focusing on a lot of things at once, at least not at the start, because the better that I can get, the better I can, eventually make some more decent content and hopefully pick up some better speech patterns and better topics to talk about over time. But yeah, so I mean, like stuff like that right there, where I use a lot of "but so, yeah," and then whatnot, and it's something that I do so often. I think it would be a good idea to be able to, switch to something a little bit more engaging with an audience, like Twitch, just because it would give me somebody actively to, interact with and talk to, and as long as I could keep up with reading chat instead of constantly being behind, because I'm also a little bit of a slow reader. But, if I could keep up and do stuff properly, that would probably end up being pretty beneficial, because then I could end up, keeping up better conversations and playing off of things that other people talk about. One of my favorite things is, I remember with Humble Bundle, there was a book bundle that I got that was like pop culture and philosophy, and one of my favorites is actually the Bioshock and philosophy book, because with the way that that is set up, one of the big things that you run into with interacting with other people is that you will find new ideas and new topics of conversation away from, or you will reach new paths of conversation and like ideas and stuff like that when you have interactions with other people. So the basis of the philosophy behind that is, it's like, all right, if I'm having a conversation with you, on our own, we'll have our own individual ideas, but as soon as we start discussing them with one another, we will eventually come to new ideas that we wouldn't have come up with on our own, because we're getting new input to receive new output. And I think that's very interesting, just because, I was like, there's a lot of different discussions to be had, there's a lot of different stuff that kind of comes up on that end, and I like the idea that it's like, yeah, like other people can help you get to new places that you never would have thought possible. I'm honestly interested to see if like that helps at all. I don't know why. Yeah, this is very weird. I feel like, because, you know, obviously right now it's like this is staying fully saturated. Is it just always going to be the one up front? Like, what if I took this and then I rotated it, and then instead of drawing off from the right side, we draw off from the... Or sorry, instead of drawing off from the left side, we draw from the right side, and then I can do a little something like that, and there we go. And yeah, so as you see, it actually doesn't affect that at all. So that might be what I have to do. I might have to alternate how I draw off of the belt. Because like I said, right now the way that it's working is, since we're always producing and then just delivering, it's coming through here, but then it's also only doing I think it's only doing like 10 items a second per the belt, because we got 10 going through here, but then 10 going straight because it's still being drawn off of this belt. So I don't know if it would be helped by distance or if it would be helped by alternating. But you know what, let's see. What if we do that, and then we can go ahead and connect those up. And what we'll do instead over here is we'll just take this and yeah, you know, we'll just go like that, that, and that. And oops, we need to we need to draw from all of those because we need that to be our die. So we need that to just be one back, and then we'll bring, nope, we need it to be here, and there you go. So that way our die will come up through there, and then we'll actually just have to move this down. This together, there you go. Boom. And then we just nope. There we go. And now we just bring this on over here, this on over here, and we just can connect that up. There we go. There we go. So now actually, let's go ahead and get rid of you. There you go. Okay. So I think what we need to do if we want to produce as many shapes as possible, we just have to alternate back and forth. And then that way it's getting rebalanced, and then it's this one being pulled off of. Because hopefully, I don't know, I'd have to do some more testing. But now COC, obviously now we're running into this issue with the red dye, which I think could be fixed if we just did the double painter like this, because obviously we only need, well, technically we need 10. No, wait, hold on, sorry. Technically we need 5 instead of, well, we need 5 instead of 8, and it's taking in double the shapes, but only 1 dye. But let's just go ahead and see how many we're doing. Which obviously I don't think we're really kind of getting that far ahead, because now our red dye is being all sorts of jacked up. So what if instead we just switch over to this, like that, and we can belt this onto the other side. And then we just meet on up over here. And now both of those stay fully stocked. And we should be able to start doing full production of 2 of those, so it should be getting to 2,000 of these delivered a minute. Which we will have to see how that works. Yes, I mean, now that's staying pretty well flushed. Oh, I see, that dipped down because we're waiting for it to catch up. Those are only 360? Excuse me? Am I missing something? I don't feel like it should have gone down that much, but okay. So, okay, but yeah, so you see we're already at about 2,000 a minute. And yeah, that's from the 2 of them. So now, what if we do that and then you like that, you like that. Yeah, so I mean, we're still running into that issue that it's drawing from it. I wonder if distance affects anything at all? So maybe we want them more spread out? Interesting. So we'll go like that, and there you go. So I mean, now obviously you see that that's being kind of slowed down, and then now we're not actually producing enough of these shapes, and so on and so forth. Because obviously this one's producing full. Very, very interesting. Well, I see that obviously even after all this time I've got a bit more to learn, so we're going to save, pause, and we're going to call the episode here. I think I might take some time to kind of do some research and figure out some better setups, and we'll see how things go for the next episode. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to see my future content, and leave a comment if you'd like to engage, anything like that. Any ideas, any criticism, any just comments in general are always appreciated. I've gotten a couple of really nice ones, and I'd like to thank you for watching. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time.